Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us to our Cybersecurity for Business webinar being hosted by Risco, which is now powered by Endzone Insurance. Today, we're going to have our speaker, Joseph Sivichin. He is a professional cybersecurity specialist, and we're going to cover a lot of important information, which is relevant to every business here in the world as of now. So let's get started with this webinar. So in today's webinar, today it is May 31st. So today we're going to cover this webinar, which is related to everything about cybersecurity for businesses. Next month on June 29th, we will be having another seminar which will be covering retirement plans for small businesses. And it's going to be hosted by Carlos Lopez, who is a financial advisor. If you are interested in joining or getting more information about this webinar, all you need to do is with your cell phone, open up your camera and hover over that QR code. Once you hover over, you're going to be able to click on the link that's going to pop up, and you'll be able to register and get all the information. But this webinar will be very beneficial for any business that is interested in getting information about retirement plans for employees. And there's a lot of great information that's going to be covered here. And this webinar will also be at 10 a.m. So it's very important to get information, stay updated with a lot of beneficial business practices that we will be covering. So if you have joined us in our previous webinars, you would be familiar with these topics. Some topics that we have covered in the past, this year alone, have been such as improving employee retention in the workplace, coronavirus and the workplace, AB 685 and Families First Coronavirus Response Act, and also SBA PPP loans. So we have covered a lot of informational topics that are relevant for every business, and I'm sure that many of our clients have benefited tremendously from these topics. And a few housekeeping points that we should consider is that this webinar is being recorded. We will be uploading it to our YouTube page, and you could easily find us on YouTube with a quick search with Risco Insurance. We will be there, and we will also share that information. Participants will also be muted upon entry, and the Q&A will be at the end. If you have any questions, I do recommend you to type them in your keyboard and then just drop them in the chat feature. We'll be answering the questions at the end, but like that, we'll make sure that all questions are answered if you submit your questions on the chat feature. So, as you know, Risco Insurance is now powered by Endzone. Endzone was founded in 2002 and is headquartered in Sacramento, California. So we here at Endzone are a full-service insurance agency brokerage, and we specialize in a broad array of property and casualty insurance, along with employee benefits. We have a strong experience management team, and we are continuously growing and expanding our network all around the United States. So we're excited to have you join us for this webinar. And next, we're going to be introducing our speaker, which is Joseph. So Joseph, you want to take it on from here?
Thank you so much, Alfredo. Thank you so much for having me and this webinar. Very happy to see you all. Thank you so much. So yeah, just want to introduce myself before we go to the session. So myself, Joseph Sivichin, I'm a certified ethical hacker and certified forensic investigator. So, and also a CTI, science-based cyber threat intelligence expert. So talking about my profession, I am a senior cybersecurity trainer at AC Council, which is a Mexico-based council. And I am a digital forensic trainer who train forensic investigations, and threat intelligence expert. I find threats as well as threat intelligence operations in the law enforcement for the government of India as well. So, so that's all about me introducing myself. So, cybersecurity for business. I have a couple of points, a few points that I'll be covering in the session. So that is, we will be going through the cybersecurity. What is actually some of the points regarding cybersecurity, and the strategies that consist of cybersecurity, which is we can use for cybersecurity in your organizations, your business, and importance of cybersecurity in today's world. And I will be introducing some of the essentials of cybersecurity and the top 5 cybersecurity threats that business faces and how to stop them. So that will be going through. And the 6th one is the cyber crime that evolved over the years. So I will be discussing on that. Next slide. So, and we'll also discuss about the impact of cybercrime in the today's world, and how to protect your business from cybercrime or cyber attack in 15 ways. So these are the things we'll be covering in the 6th session. So as an introduction, I just want you to think about internet. What is internet, and how a minute of internet, what as an internet does. So to understand the cyber world, the cyber security, you need to understand what is internet is all about. In a minute, in 1 minute, that is 60 seconds, what are the things that happens in internet, right? So you can see there's in the Netflix, we have 20,000, 28,000 plus watchers and subscribers. And when it comes to Instagram, we have 6,095,000 stories shared, 6 lakh. And when it comes to LinkedIn, in a minute, there is 9,132 connections are made in a minute by a person or organizations. And when it comes to a messenger or WhatsApp or the Facebook Messenger, 69 million of messages are sent. So when it comes to TikTok, 5,000 plus downloads every minute happens. And talking about Twitch TV, we have 2 million views a minute, like 60 seconds. And how many are shopping online? 1.6 million USD are spent online in a minute. And talking about Tinder, the online dating app, so it says 2 million swipes that happens in a minute. And in 197 in an email sense, 197.6 million emails are sent in a minute, and 5,000 hours of content are being uploaded in a minute. So internet in a minute has a lot of impact all over the world in a minute, and it creates a great communications to all over the world and in each and every minute. And what if this 1 minute is in the hands of the hacker? So there will be a very drastic things going to happen. So you will have the issues with the data transfer. You will have a problem with sending messages. You have problem with the email communications, watching videos issues. A hacker can control internet with a 1 minute time. Okay, so next slide. So cybersecurity, why I just want to give an introduction about what cybersecurity is all about. Cybersecurity is a state of process of protecting and recovering the computer system, network, devices, or program, or any type of from any type of attack. So it is to secure, it is to protect your IT from an external attack. So secondly, so it is important to protect business sensitive data being leaked due to poor IT infrastructures. So cybersecurity helps to protect from the leak of the external from hacker. Coming to the third point, cyber threats can come from any level of your organization. It has a lot of ways to come. It is not any single way. So it has a lot of other levels of coming or occurring in your organization. It has become important to small businesses as well to educate their staffs about the various ways in which they can be attacked. So even the small businesses should be considered to protect from the cyber attack. So can I move to the next slide? So we have understood what is cybersecurity and how do we create for our business the cybersecurity strategy, or how do we start? So it is very easy for us to start. Investments are there, but to have a cybersecurity strategy for your businesses is one of the important thing, and it is a very easy stuff that we need to have. So let us go to the next slide. So, talking about our president Biden, who is after 1 year, President Biden administration announced the executive order to improve the national cyber security. So they have President Biden has officially declared to have a new improving executive order for the cybersecurity of the nation. So CISA or CISA, cybersecurity and infrastructure security agencies are initiated a order to to be followed. A protocol should be followed to protect your infrastructure, your IT infrastructure, your organizations, even if it is a small thing. So you need to follow CISA's important executive orders, which is delivered by Executive Assistant Director of Cybersecurity, CISA, Eric Goldston, outlined on agency's priorities of 2022. So this elevated the global threat environment. There are several steps that security leaders can take to ensure their organization is safe. So there are various involvement strategies have been steps given to organizations so that they can protect their organization from the cyber attack. So coming to the next slide, can you move to the next slide? So yeah, these are the four primary strategies that we can opt in an organization to protect our infrastructure from a cyber attack. Number one is like identify your security requirement. So what are the security requirement you have to identify? Assess your current state of your infrastructure, build a roadmaps with tasks and initiatives, plan and communication and execution. So these are the first primary strategies that you in the organization you have to implement. So I will explain one by one what are the four strategies in an explained, in an elaborated way. So talking to the first thing is like identify your security requirement. See, risk assessment should be conducted in an organization. You should understand your organizations. What are the risks? What are the risks you are currently having? What are the threats that have occurred recently? And the threat that has occurred in your assets of your organization, even if it is a server, even if it is a cloud infrastructure, even if it is any object that is completing to the cyber things, even if it is a printer. And I just want to emphasize, even if it is a printer, you need to have a risk assessment and check on the vulnerabilities as people who is with the vulnerabilities, your staffs, are they genuine to you? Since people are also a way of a cyber attack, as you know, I'm going forward, I'll tell you, even people can bring cyber attack. So check on the people, if the employees are being honest, or they are going in a right way, or they are planning something to organization, or they are you have to check on them. and that check on the people, are they vulnerable for any exposure of attacks? So that is the people side. So if you conduct a phishing simulation exercises, conduct a test on the people or employees, if what their response on the organization systems. So people vulnerabilities and vulnerabilities on the system. So we need to conduct a vulnerability test, that is checking on the systems. Are they vulnerable for any cyber attacks? What are the risks they have? You have to check on that. Do employees use the personal devices to access the organization system? Emails, data, are they using? You have to check that. So, and you have to go through the incidental, that is historic incidents. You have to go through the histories of incident that has occurred in your organization, whether it is repeating or not. We call this phishing or social engineering. Talking about social engineering is the same thing, but I said before, it is a human hacking, or human getting hacked in any way by the manipulating of their mind or phishing attack. Is there any problem with that? You have to go through it. Can I go for the next slide? All right. So assess your current state. So, first you need to know where to start, how we evaluate, who can be involved in cybersecurity assessment. So assessment. The first thing is where to start. Audit findings. So we in our in insurance company or financial companies, we do have the financial audits, but do we have the cybersecurity audits? So do we watch over the cybersecurity audits, conduct a cybersecurity audit in your organization, check for the vulnerabilities, check for the weaknesses in the organizations, with the persons, with the systems? Is there any loophole where the enemy, or is there any weak area where enemies can get in? Security incidents, you have to check up your risk registers, you have to go through your compliance reports to be gone through very properly. So you have to start with this, evaluate this. Your questionnaires, a workbook, your team should involve in evaluating, and more than uh, some of the hours, spending a lot of time on this. Is it, if you find any weakness, you have to discuss with the stakeholders, you have to involve the CEOs, CFOs, CTOs to evaluate the risk, and who can be involved in this team. Of course, the first team is, we need to have a security team in our organization. Second thing is the IT, HR, legal team, and facility compliance, audit, and risk management. Okay, so going to the next slide. Can I? Okay, so how do we build a roadmap? So you need to have a roadmap to start how to have a cyber security in your organization. So starting again, how do we have a roadmap? Again, first you need to have a gap analysis. So you need to find time to create a roadmap, to evaluate. When it comes to evaluate, identify initiative and tasks, cost benefit analysis, prioritize initiatives. So it is important. Three things, three concepts should be covered. So again, involved persons are then. So the main goal of this roadmap creation is to develop of the action plan we are going to execute in your organization. So let's move on to the next slide. So planning the communication and execution. Now it's time to execute the cybersecurity strategy after the 3 level of where to start. So again, where we are going to start with, it's just time to execute those things. So business security goals, risk tolerance stuffs, and current and target states, security roadmap you're going to execute now. So you have a security team to chart it, and involve the security team to mitigate those vulnerabilities, to mitigate, to cover up, the patch up the weaknesses. Security team will be involving, IT leadership will be involving, and the business stakeholders will be involving to the execution of the cybersecurity strategy. So this is the goal, is to implement the strategy at the final stage. So going to the next slide. So what is the importance of cybersecurity we need to can I yeah. So today's cybersecurity industry is primarily focusing on protecting the devices systems from attackers. So while the bits and bytes behind these efforts can hard to visualize, right, it is much easier to consider the effects. So industries are going to focus to however to mitigate or however to patch it up. Apart from that, they don't even think about a permanent solution for the cyber importance of cyber. So it is not a one-day procedure or 1 month procedure or 6 month procedure. It's a regular based procedure. It goes on. Some of the importance are like increase of cyber crimes. It is important. Cyber crimes are every day, and new attacks occurs in our organization level, even in the individual level or anything. So every day a new crime happens. So there are different types of cyber attacks. Every single day, the new type of attacks occur. In case of cyber crimes, again, so tech users are very vulnerable. They use the mobile, they use the system, they are vulnerable. They don't know what to do. Tech users know to use, but they don't know when they occur any cyber attack. They don't know to mitigate. They know to use it, they know to handle it, but when it comes to the hacking or hacked, they are not aware of this. So tech users are vulnerable for the cyber attack. Cloud needs storage is vulnerable for attack. Your OneDrive, your email, Google Drive, and your Azure cloud infrastructure, even if it is AWS cloud infrastructures, it should have a security team to manage it. Viruses can harm your business or your business. Of course, a virus can actually ruin your business. So at any point of usage, we use a lot of applications, we use a lot of softwares. Everything consists of viruses. So talking about one of the creepiest thing is dark web. So we are vulnerable for, United States is more vulnerable for dark web attacks. FBI are behind fighting back against this dark web. Even today it is going forward. There is a live patrolling by FBI and the security agencies. National security agencies are doing their best to protect our nation from the cyber attacks. So going to the next slide. So some of the essentials. So I just want to go. So next slide. Yeah. So I just want to tell you again, what is cybersecurity? It's a practice of defending the computers, servers, or your mobile device, your electronic systems, your network, your data from malicious attack. It is also known as the information technology security, electronic information security. So you are protecting your infrastructure from external attacks. So going for next slide. So how, just imagine this is your business, your company. Think that you have your online business. Why does this? How does the cybersecurity helps? What other things do we have when you run an online business? You have e-commerce business. Just imagine you have millions of user IDs. You have their customer IDs, their debit card details, credit card details, financial data uh, details, and you have $1 billion of revenue every year because of the business that you are having. What are the things you have? The user data, sales data, and how your business is going. So this is a business without a cybersecurity. So coming to the next slide. So just imagine what happens if the hacker or the illegal hacker tries to hack your user data, sales data, your server, your infrastructure. What are the consequences you're going to face? You will be getting bankrupt. You will lose your money. The hacker will steal all your money, and you will be facing the court. The customer faith on your organization will be uh, you know will be stopped. People will be never going to access. I there is a business that started. You may know the eBay data breach. Once the customer loves your organization, they will invest on you. They will buy stuffs in you. Once you get cyber attack, the lots of users will take back their accounts. They will leave that. They will close their account, and they will depend on other things. So it will be a great loss to you, and you have to face the court charges if you don't have an insurance. You're talking about insurance is very important, guys. So because if you don't have insurance, you will be facing the charges in the court of law, right? So that is an important perspective. Going to the next slide. So I just want to go through the top 5 cybersecurity threats that we need to know in today's world, which is very crazy. And yeah, I just want to go come to the next slide. Yep. These are the 5 types of cyber attack that happens. Phishing attack, malware attack, ransomware attack. We have weak password, insider threats. I just want to go through its what is phishing attacks. Can you go for the next slide? So phishing attack is the most damaging or attack is biggest attack. Even today, it is available online. You will get a phishing mail. You will get now mind-blowing messages, mails that include. It looks nice, but obviously it will end up with something uh, very dangerous, and you will lose your data. So of course your data, so the sensitive information will be captured by the phishing attacks. Okay, coming to the next point. So malware attack, it's malware. Talking about malware, it is one of the biggest attack that happens in the whole world. We have seen the world in a chaos moment when malware attacks. Even today, our Google Play Store, whenever you download an application, it does have a malware. So malware destroys things. It is the second biggest threat factor facing the businesses. Your business can actually, your sensitive information can be stolen with a malware attack. Malware attacks, based on threats such as Trojan, viruses. Malware is varied in the term in malicious code. Actually, it's a code that actually takes all your credentials, your Facebook credentials, your Twitter account credentials. It has a power to take all the credentials on your system. So going to the next slide. So ransomware, that has shaken the world, that shook the world. The most common attack nowadays is a ransomware. What is ransomware? It asks you a ransom if it is infected. It's kind of a malicious, it's like a malware, but it wants, if it is infected in your system, to let your data, it takes on control of your businesses, you take control of your system. And if you want to get your system, you need to pay some ransom to get it back. It involves encryption of data. So what does ransomware does? It encrypts your all information, so your data, sensitive, which values are logged. It will encrypt it, and you will lose a lot of things. So one of the mitigation for this, I'll be explaining regarding this in our next slide, the mitigation. So ransomware, one of the dangerous thing. So weak passwords. No, this is a crazy thing. If you have your organization, if you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 password, you are vulnerable for a cyber attack. You are vulnerable for a huge attack. So going to the next slide. Insider threats, your own employees, are they faithful? Are they honest towards you? Are they vulnerable for social engineering? You have to think about them. Right, next slide. So the evolution of this cyber crimes, in 80s and 1980s or 80s, time, we had email-related cyber attacks, that is proliferation of email. And after 90s, the environment has changed to web browsers. Web browsers times have started in 90s. And when it comes to 2000, social media has been widely used by every single person. There will be across the globe, and crores of peoples are using the social media, and the crime started to happen on social media. And talking about now today's world, crypto jacking, cryptocurrency. So there is hacking, the crimes are happening all over the world. So when the cyber crime start, history of evolution of cyber crimes are easy to trace and consider with the evolution of internet itself. So the first offense was saw in 80s. Now it has changed a lot, and you can't imagine how the next crime would be. So going to the next slide. So what are the impacts of cybercrime? Just want to tell you. Next slide. See, first, before you know to the impacts, you need to know the cyber crimes. You will be facing this kind of crimes that you can see. There are a lot of people victims of this crime. Crypto jacking. Crypto jacking is your cryptocurrency being stolen. Cryptos wallets. Cryptocurrency wallets are being stolen. And talking about the identity thefts are hell lot of crazy. Facebook, and Twitter, and being someone else. Even in the organization, when it comes to business, people are getting into organization as someone else. Identity swaps, and they get into organization. They pretend to be an employee of your organization, and they will be operating. They will steal some of the information from other organizations, saying that this is a part of this organization. And talking about credit card fraud, it has widely been crazy. And credit card fraud, credit card stealing the credit card, stolen credit card has been frauded. And we have cyber espionage, and we have software piracies, exit scams, cyber extortions. So these are some of the crimes that happens in the world. So can we go to the next slide? Okay, the impacts. Talking about the impacts, number one is cybercrime can impact in increased cost, increase of cost. In your companies that want to protect themselves on online, thieves have to pull out some wallets to do so, of course. So firms may incur any number of outlets. So you need to increase the money. And talking about the second point, there's operational disruptions. So that will be occurring in the organizations. Can we go to the next slide? So we have altered business practices, right? So we have altered business practices, reputational damages that organization will be impacted, reputations may damage. And can we go to the next slide? So how do we protect our business? The last slide. So in 15 ways. Number one, so data backup. You need to have a data backup, because you need to know ransomwares can take all those your data. But if you have data backup, you are safe. So talking about data backup, it's one of the best way to protect your infrastructure. Can we go to the next slide? All right, securing your network and data. So how your network should be safe, your operating system, your system should be safe from external access. Going to the next slide, activate the data encryption. So you need to have your own encryption, not from outside. So your own encryptions of your data is very necessary to protect from the cyber attacks. Okay, so next slide. So use MFAs, we call multi-factor authentication, to protect for your infrastructures. Only the employee should access within inside the organization. Access the company infrastructures at all. So MFAs, multi-factor authentication is must. Can we go to the next slide? All right, replace the password with passphrase. So people, nowadays keeping the password 1 to 3 or 4 5 6. No, you have to change it. You have to make it lengthy. I want you guys to put the password as like, case sensitive, as well as the small letter word and special symbols. Make it phrase, not fast words. A lengthy one can protect you. A secure phrase should be at least 14 characters long. Then you are protected from cyber attack. All right, comprehensive monitoring system. Your system should be monitored. There should be a cybersecurity team to monitor what are the ingoings and outbounds of the organizations. Can we go to the next slide? Implementation of security policies is very important. So you have to have in policies that should be very strict in every aspects so that there won't be any insider attack. Going to the next slide. Cybersecurity training should be given to employees. Awareness programs should be given to the employees every now and then. Can we go to the next slide? Ensure the customer protection, one of the core part of our organizational companies, our businesses, is to ensure the protection of the customer data. Can we go to the next slide? So consider cyber insurance. Why not? Yes, a cyber insurance policy helps to cover the financial losses resulting from a cyber attack. No, you need to have an insurance to cover up your digital platforms. So we can't depend on the digital platforms, your infrastructures. It may get attacked at any time in any ways. So you need to have a cybersecurity insurance. So going to the next. Ensure the system have appropriate firewalls, antiviruses in your organization. The business should have a proper system to manage, to protect, to mitigate from cyber attack. Going to the next slide. So have a data breach prevention tools, including intrusion detection systems. You need to have a preventing tool sets. You have to purchase it for your organization. You should keep it for organization so that you can be protected from the external attacks. Going to the next slide. Right, back up your data again, have from disaster recovery plans. Any data that can be protected, you can go for a disaster recovery plans. Going to the next slide. So understand the social engineering. You need to understand your employees, who is the real employee and who is the criminal. So social engineering attacks nowadays is going very far and it's huge in nature. So you need to understand the social engineering. So going to the last point. So you need to have a risk management plan, which is very, very important. So have a risk management plan in the place in the case of breach. Have a reliable, experienced IT support team to have a risk management plan. Okay, so these are things. I want to wind up with the session with a quote. Can I go to the next slide? So cybersecurity is much more than a matter of IT. So Stephen Nepal's famous quote. So I just want to showcase some of the, how the cyber world is. I just want to showcase in a screen how a live cyber attack happens. So can I share my screen? So I will be sharing my screen. Some of the important things that happens in the cyber world. So every seconds of our and every minute there is a cyber attack that is happening in the world. Every minute you can see the live demonstration where are the attacks are happening in the United States, India or Netherlands, Ukraine, US. So every second, every 3 seconds there is a cyber attack that is happening. How many attacks on this day? 19,270 no, 19 lakh, 271, 373. So it's changing. Now every 3 seconds, the attacks has been continuously changing. So when it comes to the dark web, no, I'm telling you, dark web, how the cyber attacks is happening and the area of dark webs. So, the United States has been targeted from a huge source of hackers. The illegal hackers are trying each and every seconds that is happening. You can see the demonstration, the map. This is the United States of America and the Russia, the Norway, Finland, and there are a lot of locations you can see. It's been huge in nature, launching attack on the United States. See, guys, so there are a lot of attack that is happening now in the United States of America. Even now, even the night, even the day, every 3 seconds, there's a huge way of cyber attack is the wave of attack is happening every single day, so every single minute. So I just want to showcase one more thing. As per when it comes to world, how it looks, the actual cyber attack is happening as per the threats that is occurring every single day to individuals in the whole world. It is in a massive way. Botnet attacks, there are a lot of attacks that you can see from worldwide rising and is being attacked. So you can see the United States here. So every single day they are getting hacked from the illegal hackers or things. So I have a hacking mission that hackers do use. So I'm into the offensive security where we can see the lot of attacks where it comes from. So this is an interface that hackers use to launch attack on people. So we can actually know the information of certain organization. We can get the emails of the employees. You can get the social engineering concepts. You can see, I know I literally have a lot of stuff, password attack. I can actually attack on a password. I can get the password of people. I can actually access the database of people. So this is how the hacker does. So I investigate this kind of tool sets, how the hacker is using. We have wireless attacks, Wi-Fi based attack. We have reverse engineering, exploitation attacks, sniffing your network. A lot of things are there, social engineering. So it as it's a package of all the attack that can be launched to an organization if they are vulnerable. So a hacker actually has an access from here, from any part of the world. He can literally get into the network of anyone within a few seconds. I said you, as I told you initially, 1 minute is enough to launch an attack on an individual. So I hope you understood some of the, I have shown some of the tool sets, and I have showcased some of the maps of live attacks that has been showcased. I just want to come to the slide. Can you come back to the slide? So, so these are the things that I want to tell. So with final, thank you so much for watching to the webinar, the demonstration of cyber attacks that happens. And thank you so much for having me again. So I'm giving the mic over to Alfredo. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joseph. It was very informational, and I hope everyone benefited tremendously with the information that was covered. Like I mentioned previously, we're going to upload the video recording to YouTube. So later in this week, feel free to check out our YouTube, cover any information in there. And also, if you have any questions that you want us to ask Joseph, drop them in the chat box on Zoom, and we'll be able to get those questions answered. So as of now, Joseph, I do have one question. Do you know if businesses are legally required to carry cybersecurity insurance to protect, obviously, the information that businesses hold of their clients?
Sorry, can I come again? The
Yes,
voice.
the question was if you are familiar of any law that requires businesses to carry cyber insurance?
There are a lot of laws that carries the information. It's like you need to have. There is a law. There are some certain you know ad, advices given by CISA, that is cybersecurity infrastructure peoples. So they have recommended to have a cybersecurity insurance to your organizations, because cyber attack may vary every second. It can change. It can have a lot of changes. It can vary anytime. It can change anytime, and it is not a fixed attack that comes as a normal thing. So it is better you have a cyber security insurance, because attacks that are not even studied, there are a lot of attacks which are not even known to the cyber experts, because this is a quite different area. So you need to have a cybersecurity as per the CISA recommendation agencies. Even national security agencies also recommend the cybersecurity insurance for your infrastructures.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
another question is, what can we or what can I do today to start protecting my business against cyber threats?
So the first primary thing is to know that are your infrastructures are safe. You need to start the strategies of first. You need to start with your systems. You need to check your emails. Are you getting any spam mails? You need to check your company's first thing is the mail, of course. Yeah, everything is even you need to check your websites. You need to check your servers. These are three things, very primary things that you need to look at. First thing is, if you're checking your mail, the spam mails or any other mails that you received recently, are there any links that is leading to a phishing link? So first thing is, that is the only first access to your organization, phishing links. Second thing is, I told the websites, your organization websites, are safe? Are they safe? You need to check, connect with the cybersecurities person, security professionals. Check your websites. Are they safe? Are they vulnerable or not? First, you need to start with your websites and your emails, because they are the most vulnerable. The third thing is the servers. Your server has a lot of data, right? Any data may contain any malicious virus. No, there will be a PDFs. Even though there are you share PDFs as things to people. Do your PDFs, does it contain a malware? Does it contain any viruses? You need to check that documents. That's the reason server stores these things. So you have to check your server. Are they protected from this kind of malicious malware? Or these are things. The fourth is very most important, your phone calls. How many calls do you get? Is it from a proper where, proper places? Is it you have to check it first. Your calls can also lead into a lot of problems. uh, that is a high vulnerable place, even mobile phones. And SMS, the text SMS messages consists of malicious links. Even that is very vulnerable for your organizations through employees. So these are the primary things you need to check it up to protect the basic protect your business from any external attack, right?
Got it. Definitely. It's very important to know all that information, just
Yes.
because nowadays we have technology everywhere. We have it on our cell phones, we have it on our watches. in our keys. We like our world currently revolves around technology. So it's important for us to keep this in mind. And I just want to remind all of our listeners that here at InZone, we are an insurance agency. We could easily provide you with various insurance quotes that pertain to cyber security insurance. So keep us in mind for that. Contact us at contact me, Javier, or Meili if you are interested in an insurance quote. And it's just important for you to know your cost, the coverages, right from the start in order for you to understand how insurance works. And then we also provided Joseph's contact information on the chat feature. If you have more questions for him or would like to get in contact with him, we'll include that information. We're also going to be dropping in his email address in there in case that is easier for you to contact him. And as of now, we don't have any additional questions, but feel free to drop in the questions. We're going to be here until 12 p.m. And Joseph, would you like to add anything else to your presentation? Anything you may want to reiterate or just share with our listeners regarding your presentation?
Presentation. All right. Alfredo, no, do I need to tell about the?
No, I was just asking if there's any other point that you want to get across regarding the presentation or anything else we should know about cybersecurity.
All right. Yeah, sure. I will be telling you about regarding that. So businesses, your your insurances, your business insurance business, or any sort of businesses, the first thing is you need to have a cybersecurity covered. You need to have either a cybersecurity insurance or the infrastructures. You need to hire a cybersecurity professional for organizations. So if you don't have, the consequences will be very high. There will be a lot of problems. You will lose your business. In America, in the United States of America, there were a lot of organization which was closed down due to a cyber attack. So that can occur in organization if a cyber attack is very effective in organization. So it is better. I want to add on this thing to the slide. You need to protect your organization somehow from the cyber attack, because things are going online. Today's generation, today, now, the artificial intelligence are going to come, uh, going to take place, and everything will be very automated. Automation is good, but if you depend too much on automation, it can bring a lot of dangers. So if you don't see for the security side of everything, even your IoTs, like your Alexas, your Bluetooth, your Series, whatever the iPhone uses. I just want to tell, everything is vulnerable for an attack. It may happen at any time. Organization, if your business is going at if it your business is going at a high, and if you don't have a security, it will go down. So that is very important. You need to protect your infrastructures, know the things. I was checking out InZone's going through some of the weaknesses now in an organization's website, and I was really concerned about. I just let them know there are a lot of things out there. It is not a perfect. We need to look after the organizational websites when the business is carried online. So you need to protect yourself, protect your IDs, your information, which is social security numbers. Everything should be protected at any cost, right? So you should be watched a lot. So that's very important. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And then
Yeah.
an additional question, how
Mm.
often should we be revisiting our cybersecurity strategy?
Okay, revisiting your cybersecurity strategy is
Do you
every three
recommend?
months. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna add on, like, do you recommend every year, every few
Yeah,
months?
every 3 months is should be carried out every 3 months, uh, and there should be a daily routine of incident response monitoring. Okay, there is in three ways we have in a three levels, right? One is a daily basis, second one is a 3 month basis, another one is 6 month basis, and another one is we have four levels. Yeah, fourth one is like yearly basis. So they should be carried out in a daily basis, monthly basis, that is 3 months, and the 6 months, and the 1 year strategies, the overall audit, we call it as overall audit. So primarily is incident response teams are the people, set of people who can watch on the daily activities, who are trying to get into your, who is trying to access your website without a proper way, or if yes they are trying to access your network. You have to monitor those things, that is very important. So that is a daily basis. 3 months is quite different. 3 months is a vulnerability assessment, we call it as a VAPT, or vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, we call it as in our word. So which is 3 months, we will check on every devices what happened there, and what this device, what this laptop has faced, or what this server has faced the cyber attack. When did it happen? What are the unauthorized access that has happened? Who did this? That is a 3 months assessment. We are going to take a vulnerability, and if there is a weakness, you will you will arrange in a three format, that is which is high and which is low and which is highest. Risk management will be taken place. Based on that, you will mitigate. If it is a high, we'll take care of that first. If it is a middle or medium sized, so you will take care of that in the middle, and if it is a low, you will keep it as a third thing, and which you will mitigate after the priorities, prioritized vulnerabilities, so weaknesses. So it should be in the monthly basis as well as a daily basis and a yearly basis. So that's the procedure.
Awesome. Thank
So
you for
strategy.
sharing that information. And I also want
Mhm.
to add something else that I want to differentiate the difference between cyber insurance and a cyber computer security software. So the difference obviously is that a computer security software such as Norton, McAfee, those programs are used to protect your computer from antivirus. They clean up any antivirus that is going onto your computer. And now the difference between that and an insurance policy is that an insurance policy, if you are breached or you suffer a loss, the cyber insurance policy would actually negotiate with the with the hacker. So they would actually pay up to whatever the hacker is asking for to release your information, unlock your information. And also it would also cover your the amount that is needed for you to restore your information and bring you back to where you were. So it's just important to clarify the differences between a computer security software versus a cyber insurance policy. And I hope everyone does have a computer software program, just because personally I have suffered a lot of virus threats on my computer. And if it wasn't because of my program that I have, my computer would technically not even work at this point. So just a small refresher for everyone, the importance of having those two programs. And as we all move over to the new digital world, we'll see that our lives will basically revolve around technology. So it's just important for us to have a better understanding, to protect ourselves and protect the information of our clients. Okay, and if there's no more questions, we are ready to close off this webinar. And like we mentioned previously, we will be hosting another webinar, which will be on June 29th, and it's going to be about retirement plans. We'll go ahead and send everyone information via MailChimp, our electronic campaigns. So be on the lookout for that. And we appreciate you joining us. Thank you for your time, and we hope everyone has a great end of the month and a good June, start of summer as well. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.